Hello, TOEFL students. This lecture is meant to be listened to along with my blog at my website, www.houseoftoefl.com. I will add a link to the blog in the description below. If you do not wish to visit my blog, you can just answer the question that will also be below. Now listen to a lecture in a history class. A major symbol of American democracy, Mount Rushmore National Memorial, has stood over the Black Hills of South Dakota since it was finished in 1941. This enormous sculpture, carved out of a mountainside, depicts the faces of former presidents George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Theodore Roosevelt, and Abraham Lincoln. It was designed by American sculptor Gutzon Borglum. He died before the memorial was actually finished, and his son Lincoln took over. And incredibly, of the 400 workers involved in the carving of the images of the presidents, no others died during this massive undertaking. Unusual for any construction of the time, especially one involving dynamite and at very dangerous heights. As a matter of fact, these workers even had to climb a mountain to get to work, but then this was during America's Great Depression, a time when people were just thankful to have jobs. Many people were struggling to put food on the table to feed their families, which may explain why they accepted such dangerous work rather than a sense of national pride. 90% of the rock removed from the mountain was blown away using dynamite. The powdermen in charge of the explosives set off a variety of charges in specific locations in order to blast away certain portions of rock. Try to imagine how dangerous this work must have been. So, that's the main structural sculpting taken care of. Now let's discuss the actual carving of the mountain. Men were lowered down in front of the 152-meter rock face in bosun's chairs using thick steel cable. At the top of the mountain, men in winch houses controlled and lowered the cables manually. If they winched too quickly, the workers in the bosun's chairs would be injured, and so call boys, whose job it was to watch the men and call out instructions, were employed to sit on the mountain's edge and shout directions to the winchmen. To sculpt the last 6 inches of stone, drillers and carving assistants used jackhammers and a technique called honeycombing. They bored holes very close together. This weakened the hard granite so that it could be finished off by hand. And then the president's faces were smoothed off using tools that could cut more precisely. Today, more than 2 million people visit this monument annually, and it's often called the Shrine of Democracy.